Game of the day. Justachihuahua versus Cassidy Phalange. Sasha versus Javier.
Welcome back to the channel, folks. Sam, the original guy here, aka Mr. Cannon from Advanced Wars by Web, bringing you another live league game of the day. Today, folks, we are diving into the live queue. We have Juno here today as our map, Justachihuahua and Cassidy Phalange as our players, Sasha and Javier as our COs. So this is a pretty cool map, folks. It is a triple base airport comm tower supported matchup with a little bit of port action on the side here. Little fancy little tidbit about this map is we do have a pre-deployed black boat, which will allow you to ferry units all the way in this region here and a little bit over here in this region right there. So, pretty cool thing right there, folks. Now, aside from that, Juno is your standard strong side versus weak side matchup, this being the strong side right here, this being a weak side here, supported with the airport. You are able to go and capture the airport right here and then send units forward or send units this way and start assaulting these properties here. Now, this property right here is definitely a contested property. We'll put a little C there. That one can be fairly difficult to get, folks. But when it comes to the two base side, these bases can either directly assault this section of the map right here, pushing towards the HQ region, or pushing over to attack over here. In addition, they are responsible for going over here and attempting to grab these three properties right here. Now, as stated, this is definitely a contested property. This property over here and this property over here do tend to go kind of contested as well, in my experience. But this is not one of my games, folks. This is Justachihuahua and Cassidy Phalange. This is Justachihuahua and Cassidy Phalange in the live queue. An unrated game, but it was submitted to me, and they said that it was pretty cool. So we are going to take their word for it, folks. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what went down in the live league today. On the first few days, folks, you all know the deal. It is the standard infantry builds because you got to get the infantry on the field. It's the #1 priority in Advanced Wars by Web. #2 priority in Advanced Wars by Web, folks. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for all that hot live league action. Now, one thing cool about this map that I do see quite often, now it's not necessarily like this big, crazy unknown strategy, folks, but you can move the black boat and immediately move one of your infantry onto the black boat, and then that infantry is going to be able to go anywhere on the map that it chooses. Now, sometimes people will like to bring it over here and drop it off here so that they can grab this property and immediately threaten this property from capture. Sometimes people will just drop off their infantry on one of these two spots so they can immediately go and grab this property right here. Sometimes they might want to grab this property and then push the mid. Lots of things that you can do, folks. Lots of things. And let's see what Cassidy Phalange is going to do. Get the old boosty drop. Alright, here we go, folks. Oh, and Justachihuahua going for the center as well. Very interesting indeed. These are a couple of center players over here. But Cassidy Phalange also going for the comm tower, folks. Being Javier, it's vitally important to go and get that comm tower, folks. Otherwise, you're dealing with a tier 4 CO versus a tier 1 CO. Nobody likes that game. Except for whoever you're fighting against. If you're Javier, they would probably like that game. You, on the other hand, playing as Javier, you don't like that game very much. Get the comm tower, folks. Alrighty, here we go. Got the comm tower, brings the black bow back. Justachihuahua busting out with the early tank over here because Sasha is able to do Sasha things, folks. Early tank over here from Sasha. Very, very strong indeed. Going for the double cap. So one of those captures is going to go through. Yeah, that's about it. One of them is going to go through, folks. We do have the tank here in play now. Just a Chihuahua interrupting the capture of the center property there. Very good. That's the one that I would probably say is very important. Very important to, interrupt so that they don't get that income. Especially because just the Chihuahua has already captured that property on the opposite side of the map. So, if it is at all possible to hold on to that property, just Chihuahua is going to be ahead in income. All right, tank moves up, puts it on the HQ. Few more infantry pushing the front lines here. And now we have an attempted grab of a property here from Cassidy. Very adventurous capture indeed. Now, I don't believe that's going to go through. But I appreciate the boldness. All right, infantry interrupt over here. And another tank pushing through. And then we got the old single tap. The old single tap plus a battlecopter. Oh my lord, a battlecopter is on the field, folks. Now, battlecopters on Juno, they could be strong. They could also not be strong. It really just depends. Depends on your opponent and when you get the battlecopter out. Considering that this is a very early battlecopter, Day 7 battlecopter, there's no anti-air on the field. And Cassidy can only respond with 1 anti-air and 2 infantry this turn. So this battlecopter is probably going to get a little bit of value here. But Cassidy also takes a huge tank engagement over on the eastern front, taking one of just a Chihuahua's tanks all the way down to 4. Like, that guy is hurting. He is hurting over there. Not feeling too good about himself. Now, just a Chihuahua should be capping the comm tower here. Very good. Battlecopter taking a furry engagement and bringing a tank over. That is a very smart move. Having a tank in position to guard the battlecopter. That's some next level thinking right there, folks. Next level. All right. Actually, it's pretty much just standard play, but it's next level. Next level standard plays over here. Now, it will be difficult for the anti-air to get in position to actually do something to the battlecopter. So probably the best thing the anti-air could do in this situation is just sit back and make sure that you have all the infantry covered from an attack from the battlecopter. All right, we got an engagement on the comm tower over here. Very, very far forward. Very adventurous hit over here. Does not look like it'll really be countered, though. At best, it would be a 5 HP tank over here, but this tank is going to come over and provide assistance here pretty soon. Another tank engagement in the center. Is that another free hit in the center? Ooh. Another free hit in the center. Not too bad. And the battlecopter has been introduced to play over here from Cassidy Failing, our Javier player. Very nice. Day 9. And the battlecopter goes to the mid. Goes mid. See, this is good. This is what you got to do with that battlecopter. You got to keep it away from the anti-air. Threaten another position on the map, folks. Beautiful play right there. Going to interrupting the capture in the middle of the map with the weakened tank. That will result in more than likely the destruction of this tank here, but the interrupt has happened. The interrupt has occurred. The damage is done. Cassidy Failing, what will they do in response to this? Let's find out. All right, takes the engagement on the tank. Now, this is 1 tower Javier, folks. So it is very strong. It's a very strong Javier. Fantastic move over here from Cassidy, blocking in the tank and escaping with the anti-airs. That is very crafty. That's a crafty move indeed. Now, whether or not it's going to work entirely is another story, because there is going to be a 2-shot on this infantry right here, allowing the tank to run away, get on the forest tile, and take an engagement. Let's see if that's the sort of engagement that's going to happen. Yep. It looks like it happened, folks. Now, that is still a 5 HP anti-air that's going to escape to the center of the map, so it's not really too bad. But just Chihuahua now has the co-power, pops it, denying the power charge of Javier. So it will be very difficult for Javier to get that charge back and acquire a co-power, but definitely not impossible, folks. Very risky play right here over here from Cassidy, because attacking full mid over here, or at least this section of the mid, does expose the comm tower a little bit. So there could be some infantry play and potentially a comm tower swap here, especially backed up by a battlecopter. So yeah, well, we'll see what happens here. Will be a critical turn for sure. Oh, unfortunately doesn't go for the trade with the battlecopter. Now let's just consult the calculator here. I'm not quite sure what the roll is going to be here, but 62 to 72. Yeah, so it's not a guaranteed one shot. I mean, in reality, you don't really want to be going for that unless you're going to get the KO on the battlecopter, because you're going to lose a battlecopter in response. So the only real reason to do it would be either if you're going to gain some good position or if you're going to go unit for unit. That's it. All right, just Chihuahua brings one tank over to the western front. And then doesn't make a play for the comm tower. Pulls back, and now we got ourselves a little bit of a stalemate game here, folks. A little bit of a staring contest. Now, let's see what position Cassidy takes this turn, because she is definitely, well, she or he, I think it might be a she, but I'm not sure. But either way, they are taking a position. Now, let's see what we got here. Just pulling back and busting out the artillery. Not too shabby, folks, not too shabby. Just a Chihuahua now, going for another one of those neutral properties. This is one of the contested properties, folks. If they manage to get that property, that's going to put them in a very, very good spot. I think that'll put them at like 20,900 funds. And they bust out the soiled abomination. Absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Incredibly powerful on this map, but absolutely dreadful. We are going to need a Neo-Tank's weight in soap to take care of that thing. Alright, here we go, folks. Doing the old shimmy turn and busting out the artillery. The soap cannons have entered the fray here. Are they going to be able to blast away the stench of the Neo-Tank? Or is the Neo-Tank just going to walk up and obliterate the front line? We shall find out together, folks, because he is definitely moving in. Not moving in too far just yet, but moving in. Got a mech battlecopter. Tank, infantry. Big plays, folks, big plays. Safe from the tank. That's the way it should be, folks. That's the way it should be. Taking a very good position over here. Now, this is minorly exposed to infantry or mech or battlecopter attack here for the capture. But it might be okay. But I feel like Cassidy needs to get some sort of a tech up going here pretty soon. Otherwise, that soiled abomination is just going to be walking towards the HQ. If it sits on the HQ, that is a massive amount of defense for the soiled abomination. That's not the kind of soiled abomination that you want to be fighting, folks. You want to be fighting a soiled abomination that's sitting on a road. That's the best kind. Alrighty, folks. 35 to 75. Cassidy is going to be able to purchase a few more units this turn. Is struggling a little bit in overall value, but is doing a little bit better on time. So let's see how this one goes. Got the arty shot. Tank occupying the city. Full defending the comm tower like it's the flippin' HQ over here. Javier's second HQ, folks. The comm tower. You gotta defend it. And she busts out the classiest unit in advance was by Webb. The classy medium tank. It comes out just in time, folks, because that Neo-Tank is getting awfully close to the front lines. Something must be done. Something must be done about it. And if just a Chihuahua doesn't get a co-power by the end of this turn, Cassidy is going to be able to bust out a co-power. Oh, just a Chihuahua just scrapes it out, manages to get it. And just a Chihuahua not taking any more engagements, but does a very respectable push over on the Western front here. That is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tanks, plus 3 mechs, plus a battlecopter, and 4 infantry. All assaulting the comm tower region here, folks. But Cassidy, they're a fighter. They're a fighter, and they are not going to give up. Interesting sacrifice over here, allowing for the KO of the tank, and a KO of a mech, and a KO of a battlecopter. What a marvelous little attack right there. Unfortunately, the property from Cassidy Phalang is going to be flipped, and that is going to put just a Chihuahua in a very, very good spot. That is going to be 22,000 income per turn. That's soiled abomination territory every single day, folks. Terrifying, absolute terrifying. This is the things that nightmares are made of. Look at this double attack on the tank, and the Neo tank is just hiding in the corner behind the troops. What a coward. What an absolute coward. But in all reality, it is the best position for it right now. Don't want to be putting it on the front line. Oh, we got a power. We got the tower shield over here from Cassidy. There we flip and go. Let's see what they can accomplish with this. Managing to KO an infantry right here. Attacking another one. Getting multiple first strikes. And then, takes out the mech with the anti-air. And then resigns, folks. Resigns before we ever even got the battle between the Neo tank and the Soiled Abomination. But just for fun, folks, if we take a look at here and take a look there, in a great, wonderful world, folks, we would have smacked that Soiled Abomination for 58 to 67% damage. And in the worst world possible, probably wouldn't be sitting on the HQ. We would have taken 81 to 90, 80, 89%. 81 to 89%. Ugh. So, unfortunately, we don't live in a terrible world, but we live in a world where we have to make things happen. And we have to make things happen for ourselves. And today, just a Chihuahua made things happen. Wonderful game between these two. Well fought and well earned. And it's a live queue, so nobody loses Elo and everybody's happy. Hopefully you all enjoyed that one. If you did, consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye for now.